I'm hiding in a locker as I stare down a velociraptor that paces restlessly on the other side of the closed door. This would be a terrifying situation to find myself in if it wasn't for the fact that I've been here many, many times before. After a few seconds, the raptor loses interest and buggers off, leaving me alone to exit the locker and carry on my day. Well, until the next time I need to hide away in a locker, and in my experience, that's never too far away. Jurassic World Aftermath Collection relies heavily on this scenario, which makes perfect sense considering it's a Jurassic Park game and you can't exactly go up to a raptor and punch it on the beak, you've got to hide. But it really is a shame just how heavily the game relies on this mechanic, to the point that the hide in a locker routine is basically the foundation of the game. Having originally appeared on the Quest VR headset back in 2020, Jurassic Park Aftermath's VR heritage lies heavy around this Switch port's neck. On paper this might not seem like too big a deal, but in practice a game of hide and seek between you and a couple of genetically engineered dinos quickly gets boring, particularly when it's dragged out over a few hours and the enemy AI leaves a few things to be desired. The few dinosaurs you encounter look and sound exactly like they do in the movies, right down to the clack of the raptor's claws on the metal flooring. But the illusion is shattered when you realise how heavily they rely on field of view mechanics when it comes to spotting you. If you're not directly in front of them, the chances are you might not get spotted. This feels like a far cry from the relentless predators we've been taught about in the movies. Instead of being portrayed as intelligent hunters, the raptors are relegated to little more than guards on patrol that can be snuck around, providing you can break the line of sight, and it feels a little bit cheap. It's here that Aftermath's biggest shackles present themselves. The illusion is never truly allowed to take hold because it's always restrained by what the game will allow you to do. So whatever scenario you find yourself in, you're never really given the freedom to deal with it in your own way. You either do it the right way or you fail. For example, if a raptor does spot you, you have a few seconds to react and find a spot to hide in to break the line of sight. For this reason, Aftermath is littered with hiding places, from lockers to jump in or tables to scurry under. And should you manage to safely tuck yourself away before the raptor catches up to you, they will forget you exist and wander off after a few seconds, which feels like the exact opposite of what a raptor would do. Further compounding this problem is that the rest of the game doesn't do enough of the heavy lifting. The story goes that you've crashed on an island and of course it's down to you to save the day and escape. Luckily you have a geneticist on the other end of a walkie-talkie who just so happens to know everything about the island and every system on it. How convenient. And so Aftermath descends into a series of repetitive fetch quests interspersed with some dino hide and seek. It's all stuff that we've seen done before, but with a Jurassic Park set dressing, which is a fine concept, but it's obviously flawed, and the controls don't do much to help either. Moving and turning as slowly as you do was probably a conscious decision to avoid motion sickness in VR, but this isn't something that Switch players have to contend with. It's not all doom and gloom though. The sound design in Aftermath is a real strength, as the snarls and grunts haunt the halls, or the clang of the metallic air vents constantly remind you that you're not alone. All of this serves to crank up the tension, especially during the opening hour. Another point worthy of note is how the game looks. Being cel-shaded, Aftermath oozes charm, and you can tell that this is a game crafted with love for the source material. The dinos you encounter look and feel authentic. Environments are beautifully crafted too, but they feel a little bit empty, with there being very little interaction with the world outside of the objects that you need to interact with for an objective. Jurassic World Aftermath's VR heritage looms large in this Switch port, and it only works so much in its favour before inevitably holding it back. Sections that no doubt feel thrilling in the confined space of a VR headset feel repetitive and dull. As a result, Jurassic World Aftermath feels like a walking sim with the odd survival horror section. The lack of enemy variety, the overly simple puzzles, and the frustrating stealth sections prevent Aftermath from being a standout of the genre. And that is the end of this review. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and if you did enjoy this video and found it useful, then please do us a favour, go on down below, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget the bell icon so that you're notified whenever we've got new stuff. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until next time, cheers my dears.